Well, hello again. This is Bob, me. That's me. That's Dan. Or
Hello.
let's see, which way are you? That way. Cripes.
Yeah,
What a
pointing
terrible start.
south and a little bit west, and
Well, I don't know. This is already a mess. All right, so we are back with the Bob and Dan show. Excited to be with you here on day 219 of quarantine, and we're going to be talking a little bit of geocaching again. You thought we talked about everything? We have not. We've got some fun stuff in store for you. It's been fun to see everybody kind of logging their visits and posting pictures. Keep doing that. Make sure you friend Danny and myself. We want to keep track and have fun and compete and just kind of see how you're doing. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you friend us on there. How are you doing tonight?
doing well. It's been a pretty good weekend. We had amazing weather down here in the Twin Cities this past weekend, and both today and Friday, my kids actually had off of school. So that meant on Fridays, I'm going to take the day off of work and let's take the bikes out and hit up a trail, and
Yeah.
made about 9 good geocache finds. And most of the ones we found in this trail to the east of where I live, so kind of out in the near Stillwater area, a lot of big geocaches out there on this
Oh,
gateway. This a gateway trail. It starts in St. Paul and kind of heads north and east and gets almost to the St. Croix River a bit north of Stillwater.
oh,
And there's a lot of bikes on there. And I heard from a few local walkers that, like, if you go out there on a nice Saturday or Sunday, it could be tough to walk around a geocache because
oh,
they're like legit bikers going 25,
oh,
30 miles an hour flying down the trail. So
oh.
so we went on Friday. It was a nice day. A little bit busier on the trail, but still nice day to get out. And yeah, the
Yeah,
caches we found were really good size. So the kids were really excited about finding something that
yeah.
had trade opportunities and a couple of travel bugs in there.
Nice. Yeah, it's always fun. The younger the kids, the more exciting it is to get those giant, mayonnaise jars size geocache finds, get those trades and stuff. I know my 11-year-old kind of we had a series of the really small ones where basically there's just enough room for the log in there,
Yep,
and he got bored real quick.
sure.
So it was so the next time out, I just filtered my search on the map by large, and so I was able to pull up just the large geocaches. So we had a lot of fun doing that, and
Nice.
that's the power of the geocaching.com website where you can do that. And I think we must have done it on the app too. Yeah, we filtered it on the app, so just
Okay.
took us right to all the big ones. So that was nice. Stillwater this time. Oh my gosh, Stillwater is one of the prettiest places overlooking the river. It must have been gorgeous out.
Oh, it was great. And if you get a chance to hit up that Gateway Trail, and there's another spur that leads off that trail that goes right to Stillwater. I think it was like the Browns Creek Trail or something, Browns something. But
Okay.
there's a really nice intersection where the Gateway and this trail come together, and there's a nice map there, and there's a
Oh.
really cool geocache hidden within the map. And my 8 year
Oh.
old got the biggest kick out of it because he had to climb around on something and then reach behind this thing. Oh, here's the magnetized. It was like basically a bison tube at that point, but this bison tube being something about yay big, just enough room for a log. But just
Uh-huh.
because it involved some climbing and a clever hide, he thought it was pretty cool. So that
Yeah.
little station there had a cache hidden in it. And then, yeah, we found 8 others on that day, but just a great day to be out. And I'd recommend going down there, especially if you got the kids. Go during the week if you can to
Okay.
avoid
Yeah.
some of the big bike traffic. But yeah, there were some good sized caches in the segment that we had gone.
All right. Good tip. It's just funny. My wife and I went out caching. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and we went back to this place that we got like DNF'd a couple of years ago. We were looking for this thing, and there's a hint. It's called Australia, so we kind of figured out what that must have meant. And we searched and searched, and we almost were ready to give up. And this, I'm not going to give anything away because my kids still have yet to find it. It is super clever. It's a unique find. It's magnetized. Ooh, I probably said too much. Anyway, there are some really clever, really clever caches out there. This one's really close to my home, and they can't find it. So Mama and I are having a lot of fun with that.
Nice,
So
nice.
it's yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's first do this. Let's look at our leaderboard right here. Let me pop that over for everybody. All right, here's the leaderboard. Let me take our names down, and the week just started, so we still have the full week here. Nobody's on the board yet. You didn't find any today, then I see.
Nope, nothing today.
All right, so I have a few people on my friends list, and so this is the official Bob and Dan Show leaderboard. All right, so here we go. I have placed in the top 3 every week of our show. Can I continue? I've got 41 points. What do you know? Dan and Kim Heinrichs. Ooh, followed by Dan and Nedlow. All right, well, at least I got points here, people.
First time you're not on the podium.
I did not podium, and it makes me slightly upset. But I did make a lot of progress on the chicken coop, so there's a trade-off.
There is a trade-off.
But your parents are just killing it. Look at this.
Yeah, they went out. Is it Monday today? Yeah, so they went out yesterday and cleaned up a little bit south and west of Grantsburg. They kind of went down 87 and went west on O down kind of, it was like County Line. There's a whole bunch of caches named County Line that Nedlow had put out there. I think they had gotten 29 yesterday. And they've just been on a roll. I think they had over 100 finds last month, which was their best month ever. And
jeez,
they've been hot. Someone's got to take them down.
Hot. Somebody's dethroned those hosers. All right, so let's talk about. So we found a fun one over. Let's see, this was late last week. It's called the Wellness Esker of St. Croix Falls, and that's going to kind of lead us into kind of our conversation. We're going to talk about a couple different types of, maybe 2 or 3 different types of geocaches. Now, there's the traditional one, which is what most of us are used to. It's a bison tube or an ammo box or a micro or something with a log, and it's kind of just traditional. There might be tradables, might be travel, bugs, all those kinds of things. But there's a lot of other kinds of caches. I'm going to pop this up for everybody so they can kind of see. So those are on the left here. These are the types of caches there are, and we'll go into detail on a couple of them. But Dan, let's just really quick. We're going to talk about the mystery, the multi-cache, and the earth cache today. But can you just quickly? I don't know if we'll ever spend much time talking about these. Well, we talked about the event the other day too for Earth Day. So what is this Where I Go one? What's that mean?
I've seen those out there. I don't think I've ever found the Where I Go one, but I think it involves, I guess webcam is on there as a type 2. So there is one of those, either the webcams or the Where I Go, is where you have to have somebody on the other side of a webcam seeing where you are physically at, and then it's a team effort to log the find. And again, I've not gotten I haven't gotten one of those before, so I guess I wouldn't know too much. I don't see a webcam or Where I Go caches out there too much. Letterboxes, you'll see them from time to time, and they're a lot like traditional geocaches.
Oh, okay.
The difference that I can tell from them is that these letterboxes have a little stamp inside them, and as the name implies, the stamp is a letter. So I don't know if people have different types of books and they stamp in the A or the M or whatever they have for letterboxing, but they're just posted here on the geocaching site, and they function a lot like traditionals. I mean, it's a tin in the woods, and you go and find it, and there's a log, and you write it down, and you just leave the stamp in there for the next person who's coming in to do actual letterboxing, but they log and they count just the same as traditionals do.
Okay, gotcha. And a virtual?
Yep, the virtuals are nothing that you actually sign or find. You're basically going to a location. So you may be going to a highway rest stop, and all those rest stops have a sign explaining something cool about the area. Like, Like you'll pull off at some rest stop and it'll say back in the 1800s, some fur trade used to happen here or something. So
Okay.
the requirements on these virtuals would say something like, email the cache owner the answer to these 3 questions. In what year did the fur trade start in this area? Question 2, what caused the fur trade to go south? Question 3, blah, blah. Optional, take a picture of you and your GPS at the coordinates, but don't include the sign. And then once you're there, you post it, and that's your find.
Well, that sounds a lot like the Earth Cache, too, that we did. Why don't we do this? So I'm on geocaching.com under my own thing. We'll get rid of the traditionals, too. So we're going to talk about mystery, Earth Cache, and multi-cache here. Let's go ahead and hit done. And we have a couple that we're looking at. So I'm not far enough south to see the St. Croix Falls one, but this one is one that I found. My wife and I actually found while we were in St. Croix Falls the other day. The Wellness Esker of St. Croix Falls. I think esker is actually a type of rock or land formation. So this is what we found. You can see it has 19 favorites, and no spoiler alert here. It basically takes you on a trail behind St. Croix Falls's football stadium. It's really cool. You get a nice look and view of their awesome stadium. It's one of my favorites, by the way, that stadium. And then here's a little bit of info on an esker. And one of the things that was important to the person who hid this one is that we learned. And here's the logging requirements, like what Dan was kind of talking about with the virtual one. This is just an Earth Cache. So they want you to email. Now, he or she probably made this a while ago. You don't even have to email anymore. If you're in the app, you can answer the questions right in the app, which is pretty handy as well. And then, let's see. Okay, so then what is your elevation reading at ground zero? Now, for me, on my phone, I didn't really have an elevation on just the regular GPS thing. So I downloaded another app that does elevation, and you can actually take a picture, and then it'll like print the elevation and your latitude, longitude on the picture.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I thought that was really cool. I should tell you guys what that was. It's kind of a fun little app. It's free. It's called My Altitude. So you can download that one. That's pretty fun. Do you have anything else that does that, or do you just use your Garmin? Or
when I use that handheld, on one of the fields I can put on there is the elevation. So yeah, it's pretty quick field. Just pop that on the old school GPSer.
Right on. Okay, so then here's the questions. What is your elevation reading at GZ? That GZ is ground zero. What are the average size and types of rocks you encounter on the East Esker? That one kind of threw us. I don't know what types of rocks these are, so it made us kind of research it and kind of take our best guess at what we thought the rocks were, and then what obvious forces are eroding this esker. And it was pretty obvious what was causing it. And then please upload a photo of yourself or your GPS R at ground zero. Okay, so we did that. We logged it. Here's our photo. And it was great because that was me with the beard. Thanks for noticing. I shaved my beard, Dan.
You look good in the office. Got the nice haircut, shaved the face. Yeah.
Thanks. So the St. Croix River is back out this way. That's my beautiful wife. It was a wonderful day. And today, all the trees are budding. It's just a really nice, it's a moderate difficulty climb. There's some steep parts, and it's a kind of a winding, you're going up a pretty decent elevation, but it was fun. So so we logged it and sent the person who had broken tooth the answers to the questions. Difficulty 1.5, terrain 2.5. Could probably even bump that up to a 3, I would say. But regardless, we favorited that one, just like a lot of people, and away we went. It was really nice. We just went to this spot. The geocache, first of all, showed us that was even a thing in a place. I think even in here, it's like, what's in my backyard? Like, how many
Okay.
times have we been to the St. Croix Falls football stadium and never known that there was a beautiful place right behind it to
Hmm.
overlook St. Croix Falls? So that was really cool. And so that's an earth cache,
Yeah, one thing I
and
noticed
that's
more on that EarthCast page, if you scroll about halfway
mhm.
down, it looked
Yeah.
like there was a waypoint published on here.
Oh, good
And
call. Ooh,
yeah, so it looks like that waypoint was a spot where you could type in some coordinates to, and that's where you'd be able to park your car or your
right.
bike or whatever you're doing as far as getting to a place where you can start your journey back to the geocache.
Yeah.
And yeah, I, I want to go get
That
this one. I love that St. Croix Falls football field. And
yeah. It
it's just
looked
kind of
so
neat to
good.
know if there's a Earth cache right around there.
Yeah, it was so cool, and the field looked amazing. Like they're keeping it up. I mean, it was green and mowed. It looks so good. Interesting that you pointed this out because it's important to read this, and because he said I chose the parking coordinates because it was a very safe place. Because it was a very safe place to park, and it was an interesting perspective on the multiple forces slowly eroding the glacial footprint. Blah blah. We ended up not parking here. We parked. It's not too far away because it looked like where he wanted us to park was like in somebody's driveway, which probably wasn't. We weren't exactly right, but if we were going to try to climb up to this thing from where they had us park, it was like super steep. It's where it had been eroding. So we went back to kind of the trailhead, and it wasn't. It was much easier, I think, and it wasn't that far away from the that we ended up finding, which was
Okay.
basically right off of 87. So anyway, just interesting to that you noticed that. So, all right, so that is an earth cache, and that's signified by these. The smiley face here means that we found it, and let's move on. So here is the map again, and this again, this shows just the mystery, earth cache, and multi cache. So this light blue one here, that's gonna be really tough to see. The light blue one is the sand cliffs. Looks like we've got some multi caches over here. This is that's the one we found the other day, a multi cache. So let's quickly talk about that multi cache, Dan. We kind of went over it before, but what is a multi cache?
Yeah, a multi-cache essentially is a cache where the published coordinates are not the final spot where you would find the actual geocache. So you may find
Mm-hmm.
something that would give you a clue to where the next stage of the multi-cache is, or it might just outright say stage 2 is at north 45.14 degrees and west 92.6 degrees. And then some of them are 2-stage multis, some may be 3 stages or 4 stages, but
Wow.
you'd eventually, yeah, you'd get to a final, and then you would find the geocache log that you'd be able to sign and open up the cache itself and see what's in there. So they're a bit more involved. And one thing I'd like to point out here on this page is this is something that is a really handy tool. But you see where you got your coordinates, the north 46 degrees. You
Right
see that
here.
pencil right next to it?
Yes.
Click that guy.
Okay.
So what you can do with this, some of these multi-caches, and this actually comes in handy on those mystery caches too, whereas if you solve what the mystery is, or if you figure out, okay, I know where stage 1 is, now I need to get to stage 2, you can type in new coordinates, and then when you go to your map, you'll see a little different icon that will say that these are shifted coordinates from the original. So if you want to just test that out, you could put that in there.
Yeah,
and
let's
change
just
it
do
to,
just do like a 22 or
sure.
We'll go 1. All right.
So then
that's cool. I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be really handy. So then it'll show in italicized print there. So it shows that this is an adjusted coordinate. And then if you go back to your map and refresh it, it would show a different style icon. I don't know if it'll show now because you've got the map filtered. So it may not filter by show me the adjusted coordinates, but it will show on your phone. And it's like a kind of a bluish gray icon with a square and some lines coming out of it that indicate this is a adjusted
Right.
point for the final location for it. But yeah, it can certainly come in handy when you are out doing some puzzle solves or some multi-caches.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. It didn't take for this because I have it filtered, but that's a really handy deal. Wow. Good to know. All right, so that kind of puts a button on the multi-cache. We had a ton of fun doing that. And by the way, we had found this one. This was actually, I don't know who that is. I feel like I should know them. But anyway, we found it, and then I had I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but had messaged the owner, Muskie Hunters, and
Uh-huh.
told him that we couldn't find stage one, and so he actually went back up and put a new stage, and he got back to me and said, it should be very obvious where they were and where the coordinates were, and if you didn't find it, that means that they're missing. But it's interesting. So he did go and put new replace stage one, should be good to go. But in the meantime, I see that they found stage one. So actually, oh no, they didn't. They had to use their geosense too. Okay. So he went back up and found it because we had maintained it because we had done the note, and that's just we've kind of talked about that a few times just to make sure people that we're communicating with people. So, all right, so yeah, that's it for those. Okay, let's talk about. Oh shoot, I think I just did the wrong. Darn it. Okay.
So while you're getting your map back up, I can talk a bit about these mystery caches that we'll talk about next. So these mystery caches, there's a couple different flavors to them. Some of them are puzzles where you have to go and figure out something to lead you to the final stage. And some of them are challenges. So a challenge would be something like you can log this find once you provide proof that you have found 20 geocaches in a single day, or have found geocaches in 3 different states in a single day, or some other random challenge. And a lot of those, they'll say the cache is at the posted coordinates, but you've got to do something in addition in order to be able to log a find for this cache. And that would be the challenge. And so someone who is new to caching may not qualify for some of the challenges right off the bat, whereas someone who's got like 20,000 finds, like some of these people we see on the logs, they would just automatically qualify even if someone posted a brand new challenge cache out there and said, you need to have found 50 caches on consecutive days for 10 days in a row. And someone's like, oh, I've got that.
Yeah.
But there are also ones that if you see one pop up and you want to take the challenge, you can certainly do that. I know there's a couple that are near to me that are, you must find 7 multi-caches in one day. It's like, okay, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to go and figure out where all the final stages are. And then on some day, when it's a really nice day out, it's like, all right, I'm going to get all 7 of them. I mean, you could do it where you just start right at the beginning and go to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, find it, repeat 6 times. But if you want to kind of set yourself up for a speedier way to get 7 in a day, feel free to go get them all solved up right until the final.
Right. That's fun. Okay. Here, we've got this map ready now.
Okay.
This is one that you have a good story about. So this is a mystery cache. It's up, a little northeast or northwest of Pine City. Let's click into that one. Actually, I have it here. Very easy, 1986. Very easy. So tell us a little bit about this cache.
Okay, so the difficulty of 4.5 on this one. So this is more in the puzzle side of the mystery cache. So in the log, it'll explain something about the title and, okay, we got some World Series icons here. Baseball fans would know that 1986 was the Mets and Red Sox World Series, and the Red Sox had the Mets pretty much down on the mat, ready to count them out, and then the ball gets through Buckner, and the Mets are going to win it. And then Game 7 rolls around, and the Mets blow out the Red Sox. Curse of the Bambino keeps on going. So there's a big, long explanation about the 86 Mets and things that happen in Game 6. And then there's a table of all the different scores of the World Series in here. And somewhere in this description is a hint on how to solve where the final stage is.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah. And there's it. Honestly, I solved this 8 years ago, and then I went up to make the find and couldn't find it. So I'd spent a lot of time trying to figure this puzzle out, going through all kinds of box scores and anything that would give me a hint as to what is going on with this geocache. And I finally got this puzzle solved, and then I had to go and DNF it. It is kind of, and it gives me a little bit of hope that we have some finds on here since I logged my DNF in 2013. So it may be worth the trip up there to see if I can avenge that DNF. We even see the cache owner made some comment on there a few years ago saying, hey, it's still good to go. So a couple other people have made the find on there. So this is probably number one on my list of geocaches that I've DNF'd that I want to go get.
Nice. This is fantastic. So you figured out the what you thought was the correct coordinates, and you were telling me that this thing you can go and make sure so people can figure the coordinates out at home. They can go plug them in here, right?
Yes, and I highly recommend doing that instead of going through this puzzle and thinking, okay, I've got it, and then going to where you think it is, and then finding nothing, and then later on you realize, oh, I was looking 15 miles away from where this cache really is. So when you figure out what you have for a guess for the coordinates, you can type in what you think the chords are in that box, and you can hit certify my solution, and it will either give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down as far as yes or no. And
so it shows up on here, 11 thumbs up, 88 thumbs down, which means 88 people plugged in the wrong coordinates, 11 solved the mystery. So you were certain that you had it.
Yeah, and
you knew you had it.
Yeah, and that rank number 7, that was my old geocaching name before switching it over to Geo Sports and doing the shtick with the sports updates on the logs. So it was certified back 8 years ago that this was correct. So I've still got these coordinates saved, and I'm going to get up there and I'm going to get this thing. Yeah.
So here's the challenge. Go find this cache before GeoSports can get up there and redeem himself. Then please let us know. That's
when you say redeem yourself, it totally flashes me back to Dumb and Dumber here. Like,
yes.
You go and do something and totally redeem yourself. West, right. Lloyd, West.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, you were supposed to be throwing around all sorts of Ice Ice Baby references and all these things. We had that class of '95 reunion on Facebook a couple of weeks ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, be more than happy to collaborate with someone and listen to their suggestions on how to solve this and find this.
Oh my gosh, that was just horrific. All right, well, I think that kind of hits what we were talking about here. The filters, we did the mystery, the earth cache, and the multi-cache. You can see it here. So I just zoomed in quite a bit on kind of the Pine City area. They have several to choose from here. Oops, let's see. Get that back over there. So there's a traditional right in the middle of Pine City. It looks like a couple mysteries, a sign puzzle, light quartet, and then of course Dan's arch enemy up here. Oh, and then we've got one here. Is that the Kegum?
Oh, it's a challenge one. Click that one.
Oh, okay. Challenge of a century. So this is a mystery cache. Oh, before you start, I was going to ask. This one says premium. Are all of these premium? Because this one doesn't say premium.
No, if it's premium, it would clearly call it out on that page. So that challenge
Right.
one looks like it's only available to the people who have signed up for the premium membership.
Right. So what was it again? $9.99 for 3 months and
Yeah, $29.99 for
30
4 years.
bucks. Yeah. So if you're into it like Dan and I are, this makes a lot of sense to get that premium membership. So all right, let's take a look at this one. If my computer will respond, come on.
Yeah, hit that more.
There we go.
Yep.
What happened? All right, here we go. There we go. I didn't know I added up. Okay. Oh, here we go again. This is a premium member only cache. All right. Very hoity-toity.
Better be some good swag in this one.
Yeah, right. King Boreas. He does a ton of them, so that's the owner. All right, so tell us about this one as you discover it for yourself.
All right. So numbers, we are fascinated by them. We love to celebrate milestones and goals. To log a found it for this challenge, in addition to finding the cache and signing the logbook, you must have found 100 NGS benchmarks, alphabetic character listed on geocaching.com.
Oh my gosh.
Little additional work to be done to figure out what these benchmarks are. The final is located at the Chengwatana benchmark. That's a hyperlink. What happens if you click on Chengwatana benchmark? This does not qualify as part of the 100.
Okay, so there's your coordinates.
Oh, okay. So you go there and there's some kind of a surveyor's benchmark in the ground there, and you'd be able to see, okay, there's the benchmark. So you got to find 100 of those things.
Holy cow. Now, do you know much about that? Because my wife and I just happened upon a benchmark at Wood Lake Landing, like at Thorson Park. And so does it have to be a geocache to log it, or is it something different?
So I think with this one, back on that benchmark, it's just going to be, you're going to get to that monument out in the field, and then maybe you just record some of the information that's on it, or maybe it's just an on your honor type of thing to say, yep, I've been here. I will quote unquote log that I've been there. It doesn't even look like that's something that you log a find for. And honestly, this is the first time I've seen benchmarks even being something that you can track on geocaching.com. So this is kind of cool. I have to go and dig into this some, but yeah, the Chengwatana benchmark would be interesting. But yeah, now if you go find 99 more of these things, well, I guess 100, because he says that one doesn't count.
Holy cow. So this guy this is his log of how many he's found in all the letters of the alphabet. Okay, so we didn't look and see how many geocaches he's found. I bet he's up over 20,000, we think. Let's see. Here you go. Oh, 16,000 slacker. Wow. So is everybody posting all these? They are. Okay. Wow. That's some commitment. Oh boy. But all of these guys are just like power users. 40,000, not even 8,200, which, what are you at? You just passed 2,000 and you're like, and really like hit it hard. These guys just like, wow.
Yeah, I can imagine so that one closing in 40,000 geocache finds.
No, that's HOF geocaching right there, Hall of Fame geocaching. So okay, well there you go. Now you know what that one is up in Chengwatana Forest at that lake. That was fun. I'm not going to do that one though, so we're not going to have a report. So there you go. That's how you use this website to kind of find different and exciting kinds of geocaches and finds and hides and puzzles. It's it's fun to mix it up once in a while. And there's, you don't have to go too far. It's not nearly as plentiful as the traditional. If we pop traditionals back on there, you can barely even see the other ones. So Obviously, it's probably 1 to 20 ratio as far as traditional to non-traditional, but it's fun. Those kind of keep things exciting, don't they?
Yeah, and one thing that puzzle caches, there's some puzzle caches that'll give you hints on how to solve puzzle caches. So I mentioned going down by the Gateway Trail on Friday. So when I did the mapping of that area, there was a series of puzzle caches. And if you looked at it on the map, it would spell out some letters like, I think it was LTCC, like lunchtime crew cachers. And you can really, it seems like you can put the question mark wherever you want and then just say that, oh, the geocache is somewhere else. But I looked at a couple of those caches and they're more like, here's how to solve puzzles. And one of the tips they say, look for some odd phrases inside the descriptions that would tell you, this is kind of a weird word. Or some people may spell out numbers within the description of the cache, and you sequence those numbers and it might say, oh, here's 45, 0, 2, 1, 3, 3. Oh, there's my north coordinate. So there's some kind of unique things that people can do to hide these challenge caches. But if you want to get into some of the challenge caches and puzzle caches and kind of looking for a way to, how do you even start? I would suggest looking at that map down in the Stillwater area, see if you can find that series of mystery caches. And yeah, I think there's some good hints on how to even start with those. So if you go a little further south, Bob, if you hug the river.
Trying. There we go. Come on.
Yeah.
We're almost, come on. You can see the little fist trying. Come on. See, too much processing. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, zoom in a bit right there. You may be a bit too far to the south. Might be more.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of in between, like where you see White Bear Lake and Somerset on there. And scroll up.
There's Stillwater.
Yep, go a little bit further up from there.
Get on. There we go.
Yeah, Duluth Junction. Here? Perfect. Hit that.
Duluth Junction. Okay.
Duluth Junction is where that intersection of those two trails was at. Okay, so south of, you see the 36 on the map, kind of in the lower left.
36, Highway 36. Yep.
Yeah, right underneath your icon right there is that bunch of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if you hover over one of those. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you hover over, I think in the L, you might be able, they may tell you more about the solving. So try that LTCC Mysteries 1.
All right, let's try that. That's funny. Not at posted coordinates. Okay.
Okay, so that one doesn't have much on there. Let's go back to a different cache on that map.
Okay.
And let's see. Let's click off. Yeah, click off that so you show the list of geocaches on to the left.
Okay.
And then hover over. Yeah. Puzzle solving 101. So click on any one of those.
Okay. There we go.
So this one here will give a bit of a description on how to solve something.
Oh, here. So okay.
There's an example and the puzzle and your checker.
And the puzzle. Okay. Very nice. Oh, some people put the checker right in there. So some people had that medallion looking thing, and some just put it right into the cache description. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so their example, I mean, they're getting deep into some computer nerd stuff by putting a string of binary in there.
Binary there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You translate that, and there's your north coordinates, and wow.
That's got to be 45, I bet. Oh, it's all of this. Wait a second. Okay. Put into a converter gives you, oh, I see. Okay. Right on. Then you kind of have to figure it out yourself. But this is all coordinates in this part of the woods, neck of the woods. Okay. Well, that's good to know. And so basically you just go on to, you can find this for a little tutorial and you'll get to go find some caches. Do you know if all of these are nearby in Stillwater?
I don't know, and usually the final for a puzzle cache is somewhat close to where these coordinates are. It's not going to be something like, okay, you found this puzzle cache in Stillwater, but the final is located in Danbury. It's going to be probably within 5 miles, would say, almost the top.
Okay. All right. That's not the right one. Okay, here we go. All right. Well, that was cool. Thanks for showing us that one. I hadn't seen that before. I think that's basically going to wrap it up. That's a good way to end it. I'm excited to go out and try to find some of these mystery caches. Those look like fun. I don't think I've ever found one. Yeah. So, yeah. So, good stuff. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up here tonight?
Yeah, I'll just like to see you take a run at the podium again this upcoming week here, Bob. I know you've gotten me the last few weeks, so
I know.
I'm pretty happy to finally see myself on the podium and in front of you. So,
well, you can have yourself a spot in the podium because I'm going to go find that one that you couldn't figure out 7 years ago.
That should be worth 100 points.
Yeah, exactly. It might be. Who knows?
Yep.
So, all right, my man. Well, thanks again. This has been a lot of fun. Oops, I put the wrong picture up. Oh my gosh, I'm such a whatever. Okay. All right, my man. So that's gonna do it for tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and
thanks,
we'll
Bob.
see you out on the trail. See you later.